Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Wildlife Safari from Djuma Game Reserve in South Africa. And my name is Patrick. I'll be presenting and stay behind the camera. Tyler back in final control. Still overcast morning. The clouds are moving from the south to the north, and we'll see how it goes this afternoon. So please join us and enjoy the game live. Stashes. Is there any Djuma Stashi mobile this morning? Absolutely a gorgeous morning in this part of the world. Is stunning landscape as well, and as far as you can see, that is the Greater Kruger National Park. very pristine wilderness area. And some other parts of the Kruger National Park, and man has never set foot before. And in the areas where the man has never set foot before, within the Greater Kruger National Park, and the animals are still very wild. You hear the vehicle from miles and miles away, and then they go bizarre. And it's very difficult to get those animals used to the vehicle. It takes several years to get used to the vehicle. So there's no fences between us and the Kruger National Park. So it's a vast open game reserve. And animals wander around wherever they like. And further east of the Kruger National Park, there's obviously Mozambique. And 5 years ago, the Kruger National Park, and together with the government of Mozambique, were planning to incorporate about 25,000 hectares of land into the Greater Kruger National Park. I don't know if it did happen or not. And now the northern part of Mozambique has already been incorporated into the Kruger National Park. And the reason for the transfer tier parks or Peace Park Foundation was to increase more land available for elephants, particularly. As the elephants are overpopulated in the whole of the Kruger National Park. And so there's been lots of negotiation and plans as what could be done to keep the elephants' population control. There's lots of things that have been done to try and keep the population control. Sterilization has been done, contraception has been done to the females, and unfortunately did not work. So the clever idea was to form the transfer tier parks. And now a few years ago, the Kruger National Park has translocated some elephants into Mozambique, And unfortunately, all the elephants that were translocated into Mozambique came back into the Kruger National Park within 3 months, which it was obviously a waste of money and energy. And I think the reason why the elephants that were translocated into Mozambique came back into the Kruger National Park was because of the poaching situation in Mozambique, and also the management of the wildlife and the bush, obviously, because the people in the countryside of Mozambique are still very, very pure, and they're very, very creative people, obviously, and what to do, and then they cut down the trees and then burn them to make charcoals, and obviously sell them into the townships and some other parts of Mozambique to make more money for the living. And as a result, and the elephant disliked that, and then they came back into the Kruger National Park. Alrighty, let's continue. So the plan for this morning, we're gonna start stretching around in the southwestern part of the concession, and slowly make our way to the east and north, and see what we can find. We're just gonna try and cover as much ground as we can, looking for tracks, and so hopefully the nocturnal creatures are out and moving around during the night. So if we do find tracks, then it will obviously give us an idea where they went, what was happening during the night. A little while ago, I had the hyena crackling way in the distance in the south. There's another porcupine quail here. This is very, very fresh, yeah. It's obviously from last night, and they're becoming more and more active, the porcupines in this area. And this is the area where I often see the porcupine calls. Just along Zoe's Road, in Polar Plains, Rebecca's Road, that area. So they're obviously utilizing this road during the night, moving around and foraging for food. It's nice and fresh from the dew this morning. It's good for your headset. That's what the local people do. They collect the porcupine calls and stick it on their heads. Tara, what was the general direction of Karula yesterday afternoon? Okay. Just to give you a quick update from our PM safari yesterday afternoon. Karula was seen on Sandy Pitch, Vital Access Road, and she made her way to the west towards Zimbambili. Apparently she was hunting the impalas around Cindy Pet's area. Hi Ed, good morning to you. Ed would like to see some elephants this morning. We'll try our best, Ed, to find you some elephants this morning. Lots of elephant activities all over the concession at the moment. Different individual bulls and as well as the breeding heads. We're just breaking up quite badly each other. Oh, Betts loves elephants. That was Betts asking if we can find some elephants for her this morning. They're also my favorite. We're talking over each other. Grass is overgrown here, and there's 2 tracks that goes to the Hyena Dam in Piscataway. This obviously shows that no one has been here lately. That's why the grass is overgrown to some degree. It looks like the hyenas have been here lately. Some fresh tracks here, possibly from last night. You can also see some relatively fresh tracks and at the entrance of the den. Let's just check around the timbered mines if you can pick up anything. I think we should start checking this den site on Erie Drive. thick over here, yeah. Grass is very, very long. Every time I go out in the game life and I see a slight difference into the vegetation. It's just amazing how the vegetation changes almost every day. And 2 weeks ago, and it was not as dense as this, and the grass was also not as long as this. Maybe it's because we have had some rain a couple of days ago. Kathy, good morning to you and welcome on board. And, Kathy is asking if I can repeat my black mamba story, where I nearly rode over it in the track. I almost got bitten by a black mamba. There was a lion sighting in somewhere in the northern part of the Timberwhite Reserve, and my guest hadn't seen lions and since they've arrived. And they call in the lion sightings way up in the north, and I was cruising like 30-35 kilometers per hour, and as I came around the bend, there was a big black mamba lying across the road, and my track and I thought it was just a black branch just lying across the road, but it was actually a black mamba resting and sunning itself up. And as I got closer, the black mamba got up to make itself visible, and I immediately hit the brakes, and the tracker managed to jump off the tracker seat and roll over the bonnet onto the dashboard. And I was sitting right here in the dashboard, and the black mamba struck the tracker seat twice. That was very, very scary. There's a hyena in the tracks here. Could have been a hyena that I heard crackling a little while ago. Trucks are very, very fresh here. I also had a bad experience with an elephant bull, also in the Timbawati Reserve, and we were on the walk with 2 guests, and I think I see the elephants. Yeah, elephants straight ahead in the road. And as we walk off the dam wall, there was an elephant bull drinking. But we obviously surprised him drinking, and he immediately stopped drinking and charged. And we stood our ground as the golden rule. My guests were fine. And the elephant bull just kept coming towards us. And I thought, no, he's gonna stop, and he never stopped, and just kept coming until I started like throwing hands at him and shouting at him at the same time to try and make him to stop, and he literally stopped about 2 or 3 meters away from us. So I was standing and like looking at him up like that. That was very, very scary. It's another unforgettable experience. And he couldn't let us move, and in every slight movement we made, and then he just kept charging, and we had to freeze and allow him to do his own thing. And a few minutes later, and he decided to leave us alone, and he just walked along the dam and started feeding. Good morning, Jamba. Speaking of the devil. It's a big Jamba, the gentle giant. Looks like it has been feeding on the marula fruits for quite a while. You can see where it's been walking around the tree and it flattened the grass. And since the marula fruits have come into season and they have become the major diets of the elephants. He's resting his backside against the tree. I'm just going to try and go around the other side. This is facing away from us now. Elephants are so fond of the marula fruits here. They obviously get lots of moisture and nutritional values here. He is relatively old elephant bull. Just look at the dents on the side of his head. They're quite deep inside. And also the dents on his forehead are also quite deep. So he will be about 50 years old. And the elephants can live up to 65 years in the wild. And the elephants' life expectancy depends on the food that they eat. So if they don't eat rough vegetation, then they may live for more than 65 years. There have been elephants that have lived for more than 65 years. It's a very relaxed elephant bull. He is a left tusk elephant, and if you look at the length of his tusks vary in length. His left tusk, which is my right, is a lot more shorter than the your right tusks. So elephants are like humans, and then you get people who are left-handed and you get other people who are right-handed, so the same applies to the elephants. So there's one tusk that they used as often as the other another tusk. Majestic creature, yeah. Kira wants to know what is the age of this particular elephant bull. He will be about 50, yeah, Kira, as I said. or maybe more. Bashira, good morning to you. Do the elephants get intoxicated just by eating the marula fruits? There are lots of theories saying that elephants do get intoxicated by eating the marula fruits. I'm just gonna remain silent for now. It's very close to the vehicle. Wow. My goodness.
No,
He was...
that guy read my soul right just now. He saw everything inside me. Like, that was intense, but...
Very intense, yeah.
Sure.
Wow. He was this much close to the vehicle. Very, very close. He must have rubbed his body against the spare wheel at the back of the Gonda. Very, very close there. Wow. I'm just gonna keep a distance from him. Let's go into the next marula tree. And yeah, Bashira, this asking about an elephants if they do get intoxicated by eating the marilla fruits. I don't think so. And as I said, there's been lots of theories about people saying that the elephants do get intoxicated. So if you look at the size of an elephant, it's very, very big, and then for an elephant bull like this size, and to get drunk from eating the marilla fruits, and it has to eat millions and millions of marilla fruits before it can actually get drunk. And as you know, that the elephants have a very poor digestive system, and most of the marilla fruits that they swallow or eat, they don't chew them or digest them. If I do find the elephant dung on the road, and I'll stop and break it up and show you that there are lots of marilla fruits that they eat and haven't been chewed and digested at all. So if the elephant doesn't chew most of the marilla fruits, and it can hardly get drunk, because it has to chew them and digest them and ferment them in order to get drunk. Unless if the marilla fruits stay in the elephant's stomach for a number of days, and then it may eventually get drunk. But if the elephants eat and deposit the dung from time to time, then there is no way that the elephant can get drunk, because the fermentation process wouldn't take place, obviously. And I can also swallow the marilla fruits, and then I wouldn't get drunk. And even if I chew them, I wouldn't get drunk either. And the human's digestive system, it's more effective than the elephant's digestive system. The baboons were also known to get drunk from eating the marilla fruits, and I don't think that is true either. Impala also eats the marilla fruits, but I've never heard of them getting drunk. So the fury has only been to the elephants, because they love them a lot than the other animals. Very coffee flower. Two other parts. Beautiful gentle giant. Walking down the road. The king of the jungle. Jack in Virginia, good morning to you. And Jack wants to know, why do I refer the other elephants as breeding heads, and how do we distinguish the other elephants from the other heads? Jack, just to begin with, the breeding head is basically the family unit that consists of related females and the previous offsprings and babies, and then sometimes accompanied by a couple of older bulls. Let's go around the other side. It's gonna cross over Shibama Road shortly. So that's what we call a breeding head. And you do find the group of individual bulls that is referred as the bachelor herd. So that's how we distinguish between the group of individual bulls and the breeding head. And the bachelor head intend to split up and forage food individually, and they tend to congregate in the smaller numbers and at the dams, and again when they finish drinking again, and then they'll go their separate ways. So the breeding head and then the very, very gregarious animals as a rule, and they stick together all the time. They bond together, so they don't separate as the bulls do. And the bulls tend to move between the different breeding heads, checking on the reproductive status on the females, mating with them, and move on to the next group again. Trying to get closer again. So there might be other individual bulls within the vicinity. Yeah? So it is usual for a large elephant bull like this one to be by himself. But it's very unusual for an elephant cow to be by herself. As I said, the difference between the breeding heads and the bachelor group or a boys club. Nice thing about the elephants is that they communicate with each other constantly. So this particular elephant bull knows how far the other bulls are and how far the breeding head is. So they constantly send a message to each other. There we go, look at that. Wow.
I almost got some in the car.
Yeah, I was also worried about it. Yeah, that some treats might land into the vehicle. And this time of year, the elephants tend to stick around as pretty much in the same vicinity for a number of days, just moving between the water holes and the good grazing areas. Whereas in the dry season, and they tend to cover a considerable ground to look for something good to eat, and also the permanent water sources. Especially the breeding heads, because they obviously need a huge area to sustain them. So they generally cover huge ground almost every day. And if they do find something good, then they will communicate with the other elephants and let them know about the good grazing and water availability areas, and then the other elephants will obviously move into that particular area. Okay, we're gonna leave him to it and see what else we can find. Henry, come in. Where are you working this morning? Okay, copy, thanks. What bird was calling near the elephant's bull? There were a couple of fractal drangers that were flying around the elephant. The hum goes here. The drangers do whistle like humans and they can go. It can be quite confusing sometimes. I remember when I was a child, as a head boy, I was always confused by the drangers whistling. They also mimic the other birds' calls. They can mimic the owl's calls, the eagle's calls, and the other birds of prey calls, just to mob them. And then if they do come near the dranga, and then the dranga will start mobbing them, just to keep them away from the nests. So they're quite clever and aggressive little birds, the drangers. Humgoad, the hippo bull. It looks like the humga has just returned to the water. He's still quite active. There's lots of water bubbles on the surface of the water here. There's lots of hippo dung floating on the surface of the water here. And the hippo dung, elephant dung, and the other so the hippo's dungs and the other animals' dungs floating on the surface of the water don't affect the other animals from drinking the water. Even the hippos living in the water themselves, and the dungs don't affect them. It's all grass and leaves and twigs and stuff like that. So it wouldn't make them sick at all. And it's good for the other aquatic species like you fish and insects and crabs, and because they do eat the hippo's dung, elephant dungs, to get some more nutritional values. So it's starting to show off a bit. Just look at his eyes and twitching rapidly. So I think he wants to lie down for the day, conserve more energy for the late afternoon to go out and graze. But this time of the year, the hippos don't have to travel long distances to go and look for food. There's lots of food around the dams, unless if the hippo bull wants to patrol his territory. So this time of the year, they can travel about 10 kilometers on average. But in the dry season, when there's a lack of food around in the they can travel about 30 kilometers a night to look for better grazing areas and patrolling the territories at the same time. Good. That was less than 5 minutes being under the water. The hippos can stay under the water for about 5 to 7 minutes. It's moving away from us now. Here we go. It's going under again. I think he wants us to leave. Oh, here we go. Let's turn around and look this way. Oh, beautiful. Wow. I think we shall leave him in peace, and he really wants to take it easy for the day. You can hear the Barshall's cockle around bird calling in the foreground. Sounds like someone in the tree here to your left. There we go. You can see the movement of him in a tree there. But the camera won't be able to pick it up. They're very shy birds, and they never hang up. And they're often in the dense woodlands, and sometimes along the riverbeds and drainage lines. There's no one responding way in a distance. So might have the rain tonight, yeah. Because the local people believe that the cuckolds can actually predict the rain. So if you hear them calling, then it means it might rain. But at the moment it looks like the clouds are lifting up. We might have the sunlight. You never know, and then it might change during the course of the day. The clouds might start building up and rain. They are constantly calling the Barshall's cockle. And the call sounds like the water pouring out of the bottle. also occurring up in the mountains. I can see the blue patches in the sky. On the tracks here, heading down towards the dam. The grey bush. It looked like a rhino among the vegetations. Has anyone heard about the sticks and the Machingalans down south at Malamala? So I haven't heard about the sticks, especially the new cubs and the Machingalans. It will be interesting to know about the but the stick spread. Young male leopard tracks here. Trucks are relatively old. Possibly one of the Kuru's boys. Oh, the white loaf sun. We haven't seen a white loaf sun for a very long time. So it will also be interesting to know about the Mapogos in the western sector. Just looking for traction on the road. Timatman. A great Timatman there. Behind the military. This side. Oh, there, okay. Yeah, it's a log. Bent log. I think a lot of sun might be operating in the south, just around the Chitwa and the Shagari, that area. And sometimes up in Churchwood. That's where the mother white loaf used to hang around quite often. So he might take over his mom's territory. He obviously knows the area very well, and he was born in that area. And he will be fine, yeah. The rhino came along here. He must have been patrolling his territory last night. Tracks are coming from the north, yeah. We found his tracks west of Treehouse Dam, heading down this way. So he obviously headed north and made his way down south. So he must have covered a large ground last night, marking the territory. Also looking for females at the same time. Guardian Tower. This rhino ball has been everywhere, yeah. Last night. Approaching Chalapan. Doesn't look like there's any movement around Chelapen so far. It's one of my favorite waterhole on Western Gari, especially in the dry season. And the Chelapen pumps a lot of animals, and often find rhinos and wallowing at Chelapen, elephants also, boys almost every day. Spend the whole day at Chelapen, and leopards and lions also tend to chill around Chelapen. I'm not going to go further south. It is starting to drizzle that side of the game reserve. I'll try and avoid this rain. So we're gonna make our way up towards Gari Dam. So that the cooker was not lying, eh? The cooker's predictions were right. It's also raining where we are now. You should. Yeah. I think we're gonna have to close down and protect the camera and the equipment on the vehicle, but it's drizzling quite heavily now, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to shut down everything and start making our way back towards the base. If it does stop, and we'll obviously head out on a game drive again, and I'm just gonna head back to the base and do a Q&A. And for me, Patrick, thanks so much for joining us. We had some nice elephant bull and lots of rhino tracks all over the place, and we'll see how it goes. So stay tuned, and I'll be talking to you in final control shortly. Bye for now.